are you here?
Text me. I will call you. Let me know what text.
I know very well that you have heard a lot of, or heard about NTC, National Teaching. So, you've heard about them. If nothing else, they have given you a certain card that shows that they recognize you as a teacher. But it's very important, we take ourselves backwards for us to know the rudiment, or let's say, the kind of challenges that we were facing as teachers, and how challenges have been tabled down, and how the government, the teacher unions, civil society organizations are fronting the way in possible manner in solving these challenges. I know very well that history is very important, and I may be giving you some things that you were involved or you have heard about it. As we speak now, in Ghana, we're working with the 1992 Constitution. And when the 1992 Constitution came to be, one of the characters of the 1992 Constitution is that it didn't throw out previous regulations, but rather it came to affirm the previous regulations and added amendments. So, 1995, that is where the story starts. 1995, Ghana's education service. So since 1992, 1993, 1994, 95, Ghana's education was solely handled by Ghana Education Service. They were having the mandate to regulate and implement. If I mean Ghana's education was handled by Ghana Education Service, their core functions was to regulate and also what? Implement. To formulate policies as well. In order to legitimate their mandates, Ghana Education Service went to Parliament and called for what we call an LI. So the LI was passed and we were given what we call Act 506. Education Act 506. The 506 gave the Ghana Education Service the mandate to create 3 major key agencies. The first one happens to be Teacher Education Unit, and I know you know them. The Inspectorate Division, and then Curriculum Research Division, that's the CRD. So it was that mandate that even Ghana Education Service decided to operate basic education from kindergarten. So before the advent of what? 1982 Constitution, basic education was starting from basic 1 to basic 6, basic 7, 8, 9, 10. And decided that let us have what we call the entire journey of education, let us break it into 2 and have what we call the tertiary education service and the pre-tertiary education. So if you have been hearing pre-tertiary, which starts from kindergarten to senior name was at 506. Take note of it. So, teacher education unit was established. CRDD was established. Trade division was also established. Teacher education unit was established purposely to oversee the activities of teachers and then the professionalism of teachers. As at that time, the law students or the legal brain people, they were calling themselves professionals. The nurses, they were also calling themselves professionals. But teachers, we couldn't use the word professional because legally it has not been given to us as at that time. The inspectorate division was also responsible for the inspecting the activities of the teachers, conduct, and carry out evaluation reports on the teachers so that the government will be convinced that you have done your work. The CRDD, so in fact, if you look at all syllables, you will see the word CRDD. The CRDD was also responsible for the formulation of policies, curriculum, and co-curricular activities that should be taught in schools. So they came out with the 3 key educational foundational blocks, which we call it the CIA. The CIA. If you are going to watch on this place, you will not get it. Just follow me. I'll give you all the areas that you have to get them. So the CIA was the curriculum, the instruction and assessment. The curriculum that we use in the school, the instruction and the assessment. So they concluded that unless assessment is done, you have not taught. All these practices are basic fundamental activities that we have gone through as teachers. The story continues. 2000. So 1990 was the invention of what? Or the introduction of Act 506. 1997, 98. Then it came to the John Ajekunkufo's era. And you know, President John Ajekunkufor did so many interventions in the country, including education, HIPIC, and the rest. But one of the things the presidency left with us is what I'm going to share with you. In 2008, something happened. The previous agencies or educational units were now given autonomy, or let's say mandate or jurisdiction to operate, but not under Ghana Education Service. Though Ghana Education Service gave birth to them, take note of it, which I know during your probational examinations it will come. Ghana Education Service gave birth to them through the Act 506 as units. 2000, when the president was about to leave the office during the transitional period, there was this controversy that as at the time you are leaving, an act has been passed. Those of you who have followed politics and educational governance, you understand what I'm saying. 2000 during the election time, when we were in the queue voting, some people were now drafting what we call at 778. So after the at 506, we had at 778. And at 778, changed the teacher education needs under Ghana Education Service to become National Teaching Council. So if you hear National Teaching Council, National Teaching Council was born through the passage of Act 778 in 1st January 2009. So before President Kufuor hand the baton to the next president in 7th January, the act has been passed. Take note of it. The Inspectorate Division under the Ghana Education Service during the act or during the era of Act 77 at 506 also changed to become National Inspectorate Board, NIB. And then the CRDD also had a new name, clothing themselves with a name called NACA, National Council for Curriculum and Assessment. All these bodies were babies of Ghana Education Service. So if you look at it, the total liberation or total creation of jurisdiction, these entities or let's say organizations, weakened the foundation of what? Ghana Education Service. And NACA was given the mandate to review, draft, and develop the curriculum content and approve textbooks for this country. That is their core mandate. NIB, currently known NASIA, I will let you know why NASIA. NIB, as at the time, the 2009, 10, 12, 13, up to 2020, was also given the mandate to inspect and carry out evaluation in all pre-tertiary institutions. And if I say all, not necessarily where the schools are scattered, but basically both the public and private. So when we say education, without adding the all, or let's say basic education, then it excludes the private. The moment we say all basic education, then it means it includes what? Both public and private. Get this thing. NTC was given the mandate to regulate and bring professionalism in the teacher education fraternity. So, look at NACA. Their first assignment was the review of the linguistic subjects. So 2012, we realized that NACA reviewed the literacy and the numeracy subjects, including introduction of what? Compute, or let's say ICT. They brought school-based effort. They did all whatever they can do as at that time. NTC decided to work fully in 2012. But they realized that Why? If you check the way teachers have been employed in the teaching profession, we don't have one clear cut. There are many routes. We have teachers who are coming from the teacher training colleges directly, entering into the mainstream. We have teachers that the community also employ them without going through the mainstream. So let's say if here is now here is Asokore Mampong, if there's a tap here and they feel that they don't have teachers, the community who advance the discussion with the district education directorates through the HR, and then they will give them the green light to employ some of the teachers. We call it community-based teachers. Then we have some professionals who require that they need teaching experience to buttress their kind of the profession that they have chosen. So we have investigators who tend to become teachers, come to classroom so that experience what goes into the teaching practice and add up to their knowledge base when they are conducting any investigation in that direction. So we have volunteers who are also teaching. And then we have policy teachers. Policy teachers are those who are being recruited by a fashion, or let's say a flashing of a program through political interventions. So we can witness GDA, NAPO, and the rest. So if you are a regulator and you are being asked to professionalize the teachers and you use one approach scale, majority of them will see the pedagogical understanding of teaching. Some are coming with a different set skills that they lack the basic understanding of what? Teaching. So in 2013, NTC came out with a policy known as Pre-Tertiary Professional Development Program. Repeating it. In 2013, having realized that there are different categories of teachers from 1982 coming up to 2013, NTC decided that they cannot license or bring the professionalism into the team, though they have the mandate. So they then brought in what we call pre-tertiary continuous professional development program. Pre-tertiary continuous professional development program. So now if you hear CPD, know that CPD came to our teaching profession, in 2013. What was in that policy? What was in that policy? There were a number of things in that policy. But the few ones that we can share with you are these. I know there is a household name or a household term called steady leave. Most of you here have enjoyed steady leave. The steady is one of the main issues that the NTC brought during the pre-tertiary continuous professional policy intervention. They realize that a lot of teachers, in terms of their capacity, are teaching. So let us bring a policy where these teachers will still be in classroom, not necessarily present, but they will be in most of the teacher training colleges, University of Education, to upgrade their initial certificate to become a professional teacher. So they gave a priority areas like mathematics, English, Arabic, French. If you vie for these areas, then you can get 100% steady leave, meaning that you will not be in classroom, but you get full pay. Or the kind of fees that you will be paying over there will be taken care of by the government. They also inform the UCC and the UEW to lower the standards or to lower the bar that call for teacher, let's say, admissions. So I remember there was a meeting that we attended that one of the chancellors from, the professors from UEW told us that they have now lowered the bar so that majority of the female teachers can have programs in early childhood education. All these are interventions that the government put forward to make sure that before we advance to the main target, everybody is covered. To the point that those our brothers in the private school will also will even use their certificate, the excess certificate, get other programs to do, and then they will be given certificated. They will use the certificates, then they will apply for diploma. When you read the pre-tertiary continuous professional development policy, all whatever I'm saying are in. I just want you to get the basic standing of where NTC sits or where NTC stands. So most of the teachers applied for the steady leave programs, continuous professional programs. So 2014, 15, 16. The first batch came out, and then NTC decided that let us revisit our core mandate. Our core mandate is to advise the minister, conduct examination, issue license, register teachers, and I will explain all of them. Advise the minister. Advise the minister on policy interventions that will support teachers. Advise the minister on certain activities you have to adopt so that teaching profession becomes an enviable thing. Conduct examination to know the kind of standards and development that we have in the teaching field, and subsequently issue license to persons who successfully teaching education or teacher education programs. Issue license to teachers specifically to identify them professional teacher, and then register the teachers. So there's a difference between registration and licensing. And it doesn't mean that when you have the license, then it means you have registered. You need, there is a register professional license, your name is supposed to be in. So this program that you came, you should have come with your logbook, individual logbook. And after the program, we sent, which is added to your portfolio. But we have not gotten there, so I don't want to confuse you. But these are some of the things you need to be aware. The previous understanding, let me take my time and explain this to you. The previous understanding where we feel that I am a teacher and government is burdening me, or like the work that I'm doing is so cumbersome, and for that matter, I have to mama and make an argument and all that. Yes, we can do it, but understand that now teaching is a profession. The previous laws where community people were involved in teaching, volunteers and all that, have been now criminalized. So it is a profession that you have decided that that is where you want to work. It's one of the messages I mean, when we meet during or the time we met at the NTC level, they informed us that we should let you understand that it is a profession. It is like somebody who have identified that I want to become a medical doctor, working towards it to achieve that. So that based on it, your unions, your groups can advocate adequately for your survival. So 2016, NTC decided to license or conduct the first examination of teachers and see the reaction. 2017, they were sent to court. Supreme Court ruled in favor of them to go and continue. And interestingly, the ringleader who led the discussion for suing NTC and all that was then the NAGRAT head, and currently the NTC boss. You understand? The time NTC was battling through the law court, people challenging their legitimacy, or let's say their credibility of conducting examination and licensed teachers. Among the group is the Kabonu, Depoku, and the rest. And now, Dr. Depoku is NTC boss. So you should know the developments. So what I'm trying to let you understand is that NTC has gone through the developmental stages and they have reached where we are now. 2018, the first examination was conducted. People were provisional license and the like. NTC realized that let us coordinate, work with accredited most of the districts carry out NTC programs so that each and every one will be given the required recognition that is needed, which is in the arts.